ping cat or like spam ping him or whatever.
Okay, someone started. Hey, ZXH started recording.
I'm trusting you, ZXH. I'm trusting you, ZX.
Me too. I'll trust him. I think.
Alright, so you can go out with the question if you didn't forget it.
Okay.
I kind of
did.
It's
like following the logic you were giving me, right? Would you say moral realism is wrong because there are various forms of morality in cultures around the world, for example?
That's not really
subjective minds.
That's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying like they're not real because we cannot get a fact or like an objective, like something that's external to the mind in order to prove that those facts are actually not temporary and are actually absolute.
But like the way you used to contend that, or what you used to contend that was like that there can be two subjective minds.
What I'm saying is that like
different morality,
if it's relative,
actions, different moral actions.
So like if morality or like any fact is relative or like subjective, obviously is not gonna have the truth value, or like it's not gonna have any truth value because you cannot actually prove it. I could just say this is right and you would say this is wrong. We don't know because it's relative to our mind. So if we cannot get an external mind, something that's external to the mind to prove it, then it just doesn't exist.
So I'm going to
contend. Fact doesn't exist.
Okay, so I'll start with contending moral relativism, then I can prove that.
I mean, they're all like kind of correspondent, I guess, in this context.
Yeah. So I'll just start with moral relativism because I think it's the easiest one to attack.
All right.
Okay. So like something a moral relativist would say is like moral realism is wrong, right? Since there are various forms of morality in cultures around the world, like two different, like as you just gave me an example of, we have two different subjective minds outputting different external moral actions, right? So, but this, however, doesn't prove moral realism is wrong. Like for the exact same reason, multiple competing scientific theories don't entail that science is subjective. This only shows us that humans are not perfect at understanding and have flaws in their autonomy. For example, some cultures, such as the Middle East, kill women because they believe they have no soul. There's no reason to subject as true. It is obvious that humans either have souls or they don't have any at all. There's no reasoning to believe women specifically don't have souls. And here, the difference in morality is only because of flaw in the way of their thinking, in a flaw in their autonomy. And that doesn't change the fact that these like moral truths would be true even if no one believed them. So let me.
So here's the issue that I have with this. So when I was taking moral relativism, which not really, but I was like taking
I think you're using nihilism. A lot of them, right?
So it's basically because like relativism does not mean like cultural relativism does not mean that like morals are true relative to the culture. That's not what it means. It's just that morals are believed from various cultures and people and religions and everything like that to be true. They're believed to be true, but they don't have any truth value. So because obviously if anything is not objective, they don't have truth value. So the people in Arabia, like or whatever that is, Middle Eastern, they kill women because they have no soul. At least they say that. So like, if we're gonna take this in a like ethical perspective, so we're just gonna say if killing women is wrong based on that justification. So obviously, me, you, and everyone else, I hope so, like, are gonna believe that that's wrong, killing women. But that does not give us any reason to believe that that's actually objectively true that it's wrong to kill women, because. And obviously in Arabia, we might think they have a flawed like reasoning or like flawed justification to prove that killing women is right. But they would also think the same thing about us. So like it's right to them, right?
So I brought this up earlier, I think, like moral progressiveness. Like I said, like just as like there can be like multiple competing scientific theory, right? All of these scientific theory are going towards determining the truth behind, like, for example, the law, or like the explanation of this truth we know happens. And so many of them may be wrong. They may be wrong for a while. We may believe one is true while they are wrong, right? Or this one may be half right or completely right, but we don't know it yet, right? And so there is this progression towards the truth in scientific theorem,
right? But without
the same can be said for like moral progression. Like, for example, I don't know how long it was. I'd like to say like 100 years or so ago. Like in the U.S., discrimination against blacks was completely morally accepted. Before then, slavery was completely morally accepted, and they progressed as humans to believe that okay, well, this is actually wrong. We should not do this. This is objectively wrong to do this to people. So there's these moral progressions and just the scientific progressions they're progressing towards the truth. Doesn't mean we're at the truth right now, obviously, since humans aren't perfect, since we're getting closer to it.
Right. Even though I took like that viewpoint of moral relativism, that I don't really believe that. What I'm trying to tell you, I guess, because like you probably misinterpreted that, but what I'm trying to tell you is that nothing is true or wrong. So you might believe that slavery is wrong, like morally, objectively, obviously, and other people in America, like 100 years ago, used to believe that slavery was right, objectively. Obviously, that fact or whatever it was, like it was a temporary fact, obviously turned out to not be objective because some people think different and other people
I wouldn't
think
say
different.
it's a
You could say,
temporary
you could say like people could be wrong when they think of it. So it could be objective still, but that doesn't really matter since I'm not trying to argue whether something is true or not. I'm just saying that they don't have any ethical sentence. We cannot craft any framework, any objective framework to prove that they're objectively either wrong or right. So they don't have truth value because even though they also don't have moral properties, but they're not really like they don't have truth value objectively, at least only subjectively, which I'm trying to argue.
Okay. So you're saying like moral properties don't exist naturally; they don't exist intrinsically.
Moral properties, such as what, like self-preservation instincts.
Well, no, I'm just wondering what's your.
Well, I do believe
what exactly you're trying to go.
Self-preservation instinct.
I think that was a little vague, you know.
Intrinsically,
yeah,
I don't really think as objectively intrinsically, because people could be born like, do you think you can have morals without minds or like sentient beings?
I think
or like
there
without
are these,
people
like,
at least intelligent beings. I mean,
no,
we cannot have morals.
I think
right?
we could.
Oh, you think we could?
Yeah, I think that morals can be external. I can bring up an argument for that.
Right, so let's say in a hypothetical universe we don't exist. Any intelligent being don't exist. Only have bacteria and like retarded things exist. How would morality be true?
Like, okay, well, so if I just have to prove morality is external in the same way, like numbers would still exist as they are necessary throughout all possible worlds, and you can just say, okay, well then, why do numbers matter? Why are these facts if we can't use them in mathematical equations? Like these are obviously naturally or intrinsically occurring things. And so, like, I guess, like as you were going into,
they're still there, but I don't think the same can be applied to morality.
Okay, that's fine. So, like, the thing is, if I were to prove or give you reasoning to believe, like, morality is external to the mind, then that wouldn't be a proposition against it.
Okay, so if they could exist without the human mind, can you explain to me how, like, let's take two possible worlds. In one possible world, we are driven completely different. We all dumb, evolution didn't succeed, stuff like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like something that's possible. We have sentience, but we don't have any experience or anything to like determine the what's it called? My brain farted. But yeah, we don't have any experience or anything to determine like the fact or the objective like ethical sentence, right? So how like let's say in the actual world, like right now, we do know or like we do believe, I guess, that killing people is wrong and it does have truth value because it's objective or something like that. That's just an example. How could we like prove the same in the other possible world where like sentient beings don't really exist?
Okay.
Or like
then
at least
if you just said this is objective, right? Then if something is objectively,
no, I'm not saying it's objective. We just believe, or like people believe it to be objective.
Okay, well then if it's external to the human mind, then it isn't reliant on sentient contingent beings.
Yeah, but when I'm asking like if it's external, not to the human mind, I mean to the sentient mind. or anything
Yeah.
that's sentient, uh, what would determine the fact? How would we be able to? I'm not saying comprehend because we don't need to
Yeah.
comprehend or like understand which one is better. I'm just asking what framework can we craft in order to like to determine like the objective fact or like the
Oh, what
essence of it
framework
if
we
we don't
would
understand like
use?
what it is.
Well, like if there are no sentient beings, then I get we can't say this is right or wrong. There is no fundamental principle to base it off of if there is nothing to know this. And like, the same thing can be said for like science. If there are no sentient beings such as humans that like go upon to learning about the crafts of science and things like this that do universally exist, then you wouldn't say science or physics don't exist in those possible worlds. They're just humans.
Since your
There wouldn't what
no, you
there
go ahead, my
wouldn't be
bad.
any like perception of it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
sure. If there aren't sentient beings and there's no perception of morality, that doesn't necessarily mean or doesn't necessarily follow that these things still wouldn't
Can
exist.
can I have a since your like premise like main argument for moral realism is basically believing that something external to the mind is a fact like a what's it called epistemic fact. Can you give me an
Yeah,
analogy of any epistemic fact that's not like that is external to the human mind?
sure.
Like
I'd
what?
have to. I'd have to
Like
think for a
not
while
really a
for that.
temporary fact, obviously, because if they change through time, then they're not really objective facts.
Okay. So you want what an epistemic fact?
Epistemic fact is like external to the human mind that we did
Okay.
not
Like
decide
you
upon,
know like what you know. I'm
or it
guessing
doesn't
like
have to
you
do with
obviously know what.
sentient beings. Like
Okay. So you know like
self-preservation instinct has to do with sentient beings.
yeah.
So
So you know what like epistemology is, right?
yeah, it's the study of knowledge.
Like yeah, the study of like yeah, no, like truth. Well
Mm-hmm.
then like we know the truth is that like we know like the universe is expanding is a truth, right? That is an fuck epistem
Epistemic.
oh my god, whole epistemic fucking fact. God damn. We know that is an epistemic fact. So we know it's a truth that the universe is expanding physically,
All
right?
right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That's
I agree.
external to the human's mind.
Sure. Okay. But okay. Since that doesn't have to do with humans and stuff. Um,
Well,
an
I'm just
objective
giving you some
fact
like
has to be
analogies.
like completely true, right? Not bound by the human mind. It has to be true even without our presence, right? An
Yeah.
epistemic fact. Okay, I'm just gonna use the evil demon argument. I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, which can happen. I'm just saying, so
Hmm.
basically, there could be a demon that is
Yeah.
like powerful enough to control us and put us in an illusions to the point where we don't even know if we physically, like
Yeah.
materially or materialistically, I don't know how you say that, exist. But ideally, obviously, because cogito ergo sum.
Yeah.
But universe is like material, mostly, I guess, like even in the essence of it, except like the concepts and stuff about stuff we can only imagine, which is obviously
Yeah.
just only ideal, so it doesn't really apply. But yeah, the universe expanding is actually a material fact, to which can also be an illusion. So I'm not saying it is an illusion. I'm just saying
Hmm.
there could be even the slightest chance, as long as it's not impossible. There could be impossible. There could be the slightest chance, like 0.001 or whatever percentage, that we
Hmm.
actually are in an illusion right now. So that could not be really regarded as a fact because
Okay, so like you're arguing like these things like there's like this small possibility, but then I can just say, for example, that moral rightness of actions does not consist to their being desired or their being objects of certain
but
belief,
we're at the
right?
point of the
Like for
epistemic facts.
yeah, so I'm getting into that. So like the conceiving of like moral realism, like in terms of like irreducibility, extends to like a reasonable degree that the conception which understands moral realism in terms of like mind independence. So like on
Wait,
the
what was your
first
point?
mentioned
My bad.
conception,
I didn't get it.
right? Okay, like that moral like for example like moral righteousness of actions does not consist with their being desired or their being objects of certain beliefs. So I'm getting into that because this like once I get into that, so this will not only answer your like your current questions, it'll actually get into like questions you haven't asked. Okay. So like the conceiving of moral realism in terms of like irreducibility extends to a reasonable degree, right? The conception which understands moral realism in terms of mind independence. So moral properties, right, are irreducible and hence not identical with any non-moral properties.
Yeah.
And this implies that moral properties are mind independent in the sense that they are not identical with non-moral properties uh, that pertain to the mind. So it should be stressed that even if objects have moral properties, in virtue of having non-moral properties that pertain to the mind, that moral properties themselves are mind independent in a certain sense. The reason is
Okay.
again, if even if like objects have moral properties, in virtue of having non-moral properties, moral properties should not be identical or are not objectively identical with such properties. Like this means that
All
like
right.
these like moral properties, I guess you could say, are in fact like external to the mind. So even if like with your example with the possible worlds, if these sentient beings did not exist as they are external to these sentient beings' minds, in this case these sentient beings in our world, in our actual world, would be humans, then it would be true for every other possible world
Before
as
before I move on to like refutation, have you like dropped your
yeah.
point of epistemic fact, or like because like you're taking a different kind of perspective right now. You're talking
No,
about
I'm
like
just going into like how it's like. No, I actually didn't. I give you
no, I asked you
some example.
with the evil demon argument. In addition to that, I asked you like how could an epistemic fact that is immaterial exist external to the
Oh
human
no, I
mind?
think you said like an epistemic fact that like is external to the human mind, and I gave you one.
Yeah, and you gave me one, but I used the evil demon argument, and I said like
Oh, I
it has
didn't.
to
Did
be
I?
something immaterial.
Oh, something. Why does it have to be something immaterial?
Because of the evil demon argument basically says that we could be there's a slight possibility that we could be in an illusion right now. So the only thing that would actually be true is our minds, I guess, because of I think therefore I am.
Like, what reason do I have to like believe that?
I'm not saying I'm okay. I'm not saying that's the case because like I
Okay.
said it before. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm just saying there's a slight
Yeah.
possibility that that could actually happen. So we
I mean,
don't need
yeah,
to neglect
because
it. So we cannot neglect that because an objective fact needs to be like 100% like a truth, an objective truth. Like, but what
okay.
I'm
So you're
arguing, it's not that
saying,
it's
I
false.
mean, if
It's
this
just
if
that
it if
it
it
doesn't have truth value. That's what I'm arguing. Basically, it
what
cannot be
that
true
that
or false.
the moral properties.
Any objective fact, anything that's supposed to be an objective fact. My bad, because I kind of
Okay. So if you're saying it has physical properties, then because there's a slight possible, like a minuscule possibility that everything is an illusion,
an
that they
illusion.
wouldn't be
Yeah,
necessarily true, and only your mind is.
yeah. Only our
Well,
mind
then,
is actually
if there is
the
a
one that.
slight minuscule possibility, can this be the truth in some possible world? Sure. I don't really see how this pertains to the argument when like
Wait, I mean,
I'm arguing this in
the
like the
necessary.
actual world.
Okay, but the fact, the epistemic fact, or any kind of objective fact is supposed to be necessary, so it cannot really only like exist in some possible worlds. Like as to being contingent, it cannot actually be
Yeah, we're
contingent.
being yeah.
So if something is objective and exists in every single possible world, I'm just arguing that basically there's a possible world, because like it's not impossible metaphysically or logically. So there is a possible world where we live in an illusion. We're being put in an illusion from a demon, from an evil demon, which he like we're just all delusional or skeptic about everything that we own materially or ideally
Okay.
except our
Well, then
mind.
these like that doesn't like contend the fact that there are like epistemic facts, right? Because
I
like we
mean,
know that
okay,
the law,
I'm
these
just
like
tell you why it
universal
does.
laws would apply, like these necessary laws
Okay, I'm
that
gonna
are
just tell you
epistemic
why it does.
facts.
So
Okay.
the universe might be expanding, but in a possible world, it will not be expanding. It would be something completely different. Probably never. I mean, not probably, but yeah, something that we've never seen before. Because as soon as we're born, we're being put in an illusion from an evil demon. So we don't
Wait,
even
what does
know
that
if
have to do
anything is
with
true. Okay, so
what
you
does?
said the universe is expanding is an epistemic fact. So it has to be necessary and exist in every single possible world. I'm just saying
Yeah,
we're
because
being put in
it's
an illusion.
universally.
So in a
Hmm.
possible world, I'm talking about a possible world. The
Okay.
universe expanding could just be an illusion. It could not be the true thing. We could just be like hallucinating stuff. So it would actually not be expanding. Therefore, there exists one possible world where the universe does not expand.
Okay. So the thing is with that is this is based off like the perception of like, okay, well, let's the humans don't have the perception of this expanding universe, right? But since these things are necessary, then the devil or like the demon would not change the fact that the universe is expanding.
No,
It would
wait.
just change our
That's not my
perception
point, by
of
the
it
way.
expanding or not. Well, if that's not your point, then I don't see the relevance.
Okay, no. Okay, well, my point is, let me explain it. So,
Okay.
I'm not saying the universe is a thing, and we bring put in an illusion to believe that something else is instead of universe expanding. I'm just saying, like us seeing the universe expand could
Mm-hmm.
possibly not be true, because there's an evil demon who there could be something different. Like we could be living in something completely different that our mind cannot
Okay.
comprehend because we've
Okay.
never
Okay.
seen it before. So the
So you're
universe could
saying
just
in
be
a
a illusion, like the universe expansion, the universe itself.
so not like it would be like our perception of the universe would be an illusion.
No, the universe itself will be an illusion, and we would perceive it as true, but it's not true. Our perception of it will be actually correct, but the whole thing is not true. I don't know
So
if
are
you're
you
getting it. Like you
saying
can ask me questions like about this
so okay,
if I'm
yeah,
not being
yeah.
clear.
So would you be saying like okay, so you're saying like the universe is different, we perceive it the same then, we perceive it as true, but the universe in itself in actuality is different. Well then like
It could be different, yeah.
why does this devil or demon have the power to change necessary truth?
Because it's a hypothetical universe, so it could be like something that's
Well, yeah, there's hypothetical
completely more
universes, but
powerful.
like I'll give you an example with like God, right? If there is this maximally great being that is necessary in one possible world, obviously then he's necessary in all. So
Moral
this
logic.
demon, since
Uh,
it's like something that is necessary, like for example, numbers or etc., would not be able to change by this demon.
sure.
These things, yeah. So
But okay, so
this
I don't see
demon
how
isn't
we
able
can
to change
prove.
necessary things like the universe, but it
Okay, so
can
a
change, however,
fact.
like
Okay,
obviously
a fact
contingent
is
things.
okay, but well, a fact, like the fact that you're trying to prove, obviously, is not just a random fact that's necessary. There's a fact where the propositions of it actually assume its properties and are completely like relevant and objective. Like a moral fact is not only something like that's true. It's something like any ethical proposition that's supposed to be objective and external to the human mind, whether we believe it or not.
Mhm.
So I don't see how this correlates. Like I don't see how this corresponds or correlates or whatever with moral facts, because moral facts don't really exist. They're not really
Okay,
objective.
but okay. So I gave you multiple like arguments for them for moral properties existing, and like your main argument against it would be like if in a possible world that they if they're not external and they're internal, then like and since beings are contingent or like sentient beings are contingent, that in a possible world where like any sentient being does not exist, then moral properties wouldn't exist either. But then I've also argued and given you proof you have yet to rebuttal that that moral properties are in fact external to a sentient mind.
Okay, but so if I want to take like a viewpoint, like a non-cognitivist viewpoint, um, basically those moral properties, they they would just be like revealing what we have inside of us that we actually desire, like I guess you could say the ethical sentence or like the moral properties that are in the sentence are actually just no, I mean the propositions are actually just
What do you
preferences.
mean by like we desire? Are you saying like, we all have
Yeah,
like
so
some
it's
like
like a preference. Like if we
desert
say killing people
desideratum?
is wrong, we prefer that to be the case. We prefer to like killing people is wrong because we want a peaceful
Oh, okay, okay. So
life,
you're
you
like
know. But that does not mean that it's actually true objectively. It's just that we prefer, like it's a preference rather than a proposition.
okay. So again, like I've kind of like, do you think we could just get into conclusions?
Sure.
Okay. Well, okay. So do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
You can start.
Okay. So as you've just mentioned, I feel like I already countered that. You said, can you repeat what you said real quick?
Wait.
Just so I don't so I don't miss
non-cognitivist
anything.
Non-cognitive is basically not having true value, like the thing.
Okay. Yeah.
You just prefer it. It's like a preference.
We prefer. Okay. Well, I've already like argued against this with like epistemic fact. I was also able to prove, as he did not contend, that's like moral properties are external. I proved that, and I've yet to see contention to it. And then I was also able to argue against like the possible rules proposition. And evidently, because of that, then moral properties should exist, regardless of like the perception of sentient beings. I also was able to contend, basically debunk like the moral relativist view, and that's when we got into the possible worlds argument. And I think it was very back and forth since then, and I was able to further elaborate and prove my point that moral properties do exist, and since they are external to humans or like to sentient beings, then they should exist objectively.
All right. So, I think his main point is I was taking I guess a nihilist perspective towards moral properties. His point was that epistemic. Yeah, my bad. Send it and take. I don't want to say, but yeah, like there's a fact that there's a fact that correlates to actually a moral fact, like an epistemic fact that correlates to the moral fact. He was trying to like make them like corresponded to each other. By arguing that basically anything that's true should also apply to the same moral like ethical sentences. So, and I disproved to him by taking a non-cognitivist position that's saying that everything like that has to do with moral or like morality does not have to be a proposition, but it actually is preference. We just like to like desire for it to be a proposition because we don't want it to happen that way. However, he cannot really he failed to like make them correlate to each other, like any fact with a moral fact. Therefore, I think I debunked that moral fact do not exist, and that anything that we choose to believe is only true within our subjective mind. So therefore, they don't really have any truth value. That's my conclusion.
Okay. So can we get like the verdicts of the judges?
Yeah, also, Lucifer, slide me the recording, bro.
Me too.
Oh, am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sunday, do you want to go first? Do you want to go first? Get Sunday unmuted.
Yeah, I got him unmuted. He just doesn't. He's local. He said go first.
Oh yeah, Tiger.
Personally, I think Sunday will do a little bit better. I think Sunday will do it. Sunday will do it better in depth than me. So that's why I'm asking Sunday to like unmute. You fucking loser. Because I'm about to just.
Bro,
he said I got a piss, bro.
I really got a piss.
Okay. I got this. Okay. Yeah. So I think both sides put up pretty good arguments. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, but Parrot won. So it was pretty.
Is the best debate.
I was thinking like for like the first like 3 points, I was like, man, I think Richard might have this, and then I was like, no, wait, other dude might have it, and then I was like, no. At the end of it, I was like, yep, Parrot won. Yeah, it's kind of tough. How that happened.
I think Naya won, bro.
No, on the real though, Richard, you were making a little bit of like some weird arguments.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I think personally, I think I might have to give this a day, honestly. But to be honest, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I was cutting in and out, and I did have to leave because at one point where I couldn't both. I thought you guys like both went on silent or something like that, or Sunday like muted you or something like that. So I did leave during it. And plus I didn't show up for the first part of the debate that you guys were having. I joined a little bit little
Can we get Sunday's verdict?
later. I don't feel like my judgment is probably like the best. So basically, I'm saying that I would say take judgment over
Yo, is he lagging for me?
bits of pieces that I
he's
heard
lagging for me too.
and that I was able to like clearly make out. They like, oh, did I lag out?
I mean, I could hear you. It's just kind of laggy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I probably would have to give it to Daniel, but I mean, like I said, I did leave like mid debate, so I guess I feel like that my judgment would be invalid. So, more importantly, I feel like Sunday would give a better judgment than me.
Okay.
Okay, I can go. In the beginning, it was pretty like neutral, like even.
But
Daniel started. Okay.
the real judgment still is that parent one. It's kind of tough. It's kind of tough when parent just wins a debate out of nowhere. The person just leaves to give no reasoning.
All right. In the beginning, you guys were like going back and forth. You guys were like, then Daniel like took control for most of it. Then like Richard like turned it around. Like Richard won high diff.
Man, Daniel's good. What the fuck?
I mean, you guys both.
Yeah.
I thought this nigga's like trash.
You guys
but
both
nah.
made some like wonky arguments.
Yo, I really said logically good,
I don't know
bro.
why you let like Richard like use like
that's why.
argument.
That's why I gave it to like Daniel.
I said logically good,
And
bro.
Richard,
I'm so retarded.
epistemic
Richard, you
facts
should have
aren't-
pulled out
epistemic facts
Richard, you
is
should have
not
just pulled
real.
out
Don't ever
epistemic.
say that. It's not real. It doesn't exist.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I just
Yeah,
took
never
it as
say that
granted
stupid shit
'cause
again.
He said that, so I was like, okay, sure, epistemic fact. Let's go.
Epistemic facts.
Nah, Richard, you should have said you should have started pulling out epistemic humility. And that would have been funny as shit to listen to. You should have immediately just be like, yeah. I don't know. Epistemology is right. I don't know if we have all of the knowledge to say that epistemology is right. It's like, what? Jesus Christ.
No, Daniel's pretty good.
Yo,
I don't know.
Thanks, Richard. You too. I think I was pretty good for like my first debate on morality.
Yo,
Bro, your first, yeah, you definitely gonna like.
Oh God, that was your first?
Yeah.
Nigga said
you
my
did better
first,
than
and
me
he
and my
was like,
first.
yeah, like if like compared to my first or like Tigger's first or something.
yeah, you
Would
just
violate us, bro.
Let's talk about my first morality debate. I beat fucking, who was it? Gray? I don't know. Probably Gray.
Yo, Daniel, you
That was your second,
you
bro.
might have lost.
First
but
you beat me.
You're really, really good. Like you're really good.
Thanks,
at the
man.
Yeah. No hard feelings.
Thanks.
What stance?
No, yeah, that was a good debate.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wait,
When I
there's,
say some people win, they like spurg out on me, so I have to like prepare myself to like 8 back. You know.
Yo, Sunday. Are you logically good, bro?
Logically.
What
Oh.
Logically
Wait,
good, bro?
Zeke's Edge. Did you guys who got the recording again?
I think Lucifer.
Richard, logic doesn't exist. It's bound by the mind, so it's a
Facts. Nah, bro, we discovered logic, bro. We didn't create it.
huh?
What's
We
the
discovered
answer
it.
then
And we
you
found
think?
out that it's a
Wait, okay, where do you guys think I should like have my role at?
Champions.
Champions.
I gave it to you. Nigga, why you...
What?
He took his Spartan away. Like,
You should be champion, to be honest.
yeah, I gave you champions. Like, why you being so like, stupid and gave yourself Spartans?
Bro, because I don't think I'm champion level. I think I deserve.
You
Still
are.
I don't know.
keep
I mean,
yourself
most
there,
of
bro.
the TikTok
Like,
people
if they ask
really
you-
aren't that good.
Yeah, if they ask you like, yo, why is it there? Just don't say that you put yourself there. We did.
What is champions? Like, what is that?
That's like the second highest.
Okay,
role, I guess.
okay, Richard, bro, just give me master, okay?
Nah.
Give me like a week. Give me like a week first.
No.
'cause I'm
No.
Hold on.
You either have
Wait.
champions or no role.
Wait. You said champions the highest role.
Not the second
No.
highest.
What's the first?
a legendary.
Yeah, let me
All
get
I
D1
see is-
legendary.
All I see is champions, masters, Spartans, elite, talented,